There was a lot of progress made on the stimulus package last night, and I want to go over that information with my community today. So stick with me to the end because this is going to be an information-packed video. Hello and welcome to today's daily news report, as well as ongoing stimulus package information video. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. And if you're not, consider subscribing right now so I can keep you up to date on what's going on in Washington, D.C., this next stimulus package, the U.S. economy, money, investing, and much, much more. All right, now I think the first big step in passing the $3.5 trillion stimulus package towards completion took place yesterday. A subcommittee for the Ways and Means Committee in Congress voted yesterday to start drafting the language around taxing the wealthy and the large corporations. The vote passed 24-19 with all but one Democrat voting for the bill. Now, as I told you in the past, Representative Stephanie Murphy, a Democrat from Florida, said she would vote against higher taxes and the $3.5 trillion price tag. And last night she kept her word and did that. But the committee still had a majority on taxing the rich, so this section of the bill will now move to the writing process. Now, there was a change in information that is a big deal, so I'll share that with you now. The corporate tax rate hike Democrats wanted is going to be at 26.5%, not 28%. So they've lowered it by 1.5%. And it will also only apply to businesses that make over $5 million. So these smaller businesses, they're going to remain in that lower tax bracket. But once they cross $5 million, then they will be pushed up to that higher tax bracket. Also, the top tax bracket on individuals will move to 39.6% on a federal level and a 3% surcharge tax for individuals that make 5 million or more. So 5 million seems to be the target number that they are going after. Now, the new bill will raise the capital gains tax from 20% to 25%. So any gains people have on investments, the federal government now gets 25% of any good that came from you investing, right? Kind of crazy, right? All right, now the bill also seeks to give the IRS $80 billion and permission for the IRS to look at any purchase you make over $600. So essentially, the IRS will be given permission to spy on American citizens and more money to audit the middle and lower income families in the country. Now, I, for one, am not super happy about that. I think they need to audit the wealthy, right? The people that are making the money and trying to keep more of that money illegally. But they'll just continue to come after the middle class like they always have. And now Biden has given them permission to look at your bank accounts. So now they're going to know what you're spending your money on. All right, yesterday I told you how President Biden was holding a special private meeting with Senator Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. According to Press Secretary Jen Psaki, the entire purpose of this group meeting was to find a path forward together. So, did they find a path forward? Let's answer that. According to Sinema's public relations person, the meeting went very well, and Sinema will continue to work with President Biden in good faith. It should be noted, it doesn't say she caved or gave in or even agreed to the $3.5 trillion price tag. So, it sounds like it was a good meeting, and she plans to move forward with an open mind, but it doesn't mean that Biden convinced her to go along with the $3.5 trillion price tag at this time. All right, now, according to the White House, the meeting with Manchin was productive and focused primarily on Biden's agenda. Reports say President Biden came at it from a perspective of how this will help the middle class. Now, part of the vote that happened last night was also to create more tax credits for low-income housing and renewable energy credits. So inside of this next package, we will likely see help for getting a house and also tax deductions for buying electric vehicles. Now, I want to be clear, although a tax credit for buying a house is a far cry from affordable housing, right? Like, If you can't afford to buy the house, then you don't get the tax credit, right? You only get that credit if you actually buy a house. So it doesn't really help with the difficulty of getting that down payment and affordability. But perhaps there will be more on affordable housing information coming out. But as of right now, it's a credit for those that can afford a house, right? So it's not as good as it sounds, but that's what was discussed in the news. All right, now yesterday, millions of families with children should have received their child tax credit stimulus check. If you didn't, I would just say give it a few more days to arrive. All right, now speaking of checks for kids, the committee last night said that they will include language to keep the children's tax credit checks going through 2025. The committee also said it will write into their section of this bill the ability to negotiate for lower prescription drug prices. By the way, thank you guys so much for giving these videos a like. I really appreciate it, and I just love bringing you guys the news. All right, now according to reports out of Washington, D.C., Bernie Sanders' idea for expanding Medicare, adding vision, dental, and hearing care also got the green light to move forward in their respective committee group. Also, this idea of 12 weeks off for having a baby will likely be included, according to reports. So we are finally seeing a fraction of what could be included in the next stimulus package. We are still hoping to see some form of adult tax credits that could be made into monthly checks for those with and without children. We are also hoping they will do a fourth stimulus check for those that are still in need. We know 167 million Americans don't need a stimulus check, but many different groups have empirically shown that about 25 million Americans would benefit from a fourth stimulus check. We also have the Senior Citizens League showing that many fixed income people on Social Security Administration benefits would benefit from an extra stimulus check to help with gas, rent, and the rising cost of food. So these are people that are fighting for a fourth stimulus check. Okay, now according to a CNN poll, Americans are becoming increasingly more angry and doubtful about the direction of our country. Likely, like they don't trust the current reality that we're living in right now, right? The poll showed that 74% of the country is somewhat angry to very angry about the direction the United States is heading. Now, here's the breakdown. 88% of Republicans are angry about the direction of the country. 70% of independents, which was shocking, are angry about the direction of the country. And 67% of Democrats are angry about the direction of the country. So every major voting group, more than 50%, are angry about the direction the country is headed, right? Now, I was very shocked to see 67% of Democrats angry at the direction. But this was on CNN, right? Now, in the media, you hear that Democrats watch CNN and Republicans watch Fox News. I don't know if this is true. Truthfully, I don't watch either of them, but occasionally I will see clips or have to jump on to gather information. So it shocked me to see a CNN poll show just how many people are angry at the direction our country is headed. I'm going to be doing a similar poll on my community page, and I would love if you would go over there and let me know your thoughts. But it seems like the tone or the feeling of the American people has changed a lot over this summer. So I'd be curious to know from you, what do you think? Are you happy with the direction the country's headed? Or are you somewhat angry or very angry? I'll give you a chance to answer, but you can also put your comments down below. You guys know I love hearing from you, and I read your comments. Okay, now I want to hear from you on this because I have a hard time believing this next news story, but several sites confirmed that it's true. I'm reading that Biden has health teams going door to door to ask if you are, and to disclose the status of everyone in your house. Now, several people in Washington, D.C. said that they had doorbell footage of someone coming to their house upwards of 5 to 6 times a day with a clipboard trying to get information about their... Now, is this happening in your city? If yes, please say, yes, it's happening in my city, and then tell me which city you live in. This going door to door to ask your status about stuff seems very odd to me and almost unbelievable. So I'm relying on people in my community to give me feedback. Is this happening in your town? Because again, on multiple news sites, they're saying that this is now happening. All right, now a few days ago, I told you how Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, attended the Met Gala wearing a Tax the Rich dress. Many Met Gala attendees have said that they didn't appreciate her making this event political and that she will not be invited back. But the real concern should be the ethics violation that has now been filed against her. You see, she is now going to be reviewed to see if she used taxpayer money to attend the $30,000 per ticket event. If she did, AOC could be in big trouble. If she didn't, was the $30,000 per ticket given to her as a gift? In which case she has violated a rule in Congress about receiving gifts. Members of Congress can't accept gifts over a certain value, or else organizations would use this pay-to-play tactic to get their ideas forced into Congress. So there's real concern that why is someone in Congress being gifted a $30,000 ticket to a major event, right? We'll see what comes out of it, right? Now, we know this happens, right? This pay-to-play, but it's usually done quietly and from lobbyists. Otherwise, how do people in Congress get wealthy after being public servants, right? Public servants aren't supposed to leave their post as millionaires, but it happens, and it happens in both parties. All right, now, last year, a lawyer in the Donald Trump Russia story was found to have lied to the FBI and changed an email, which is what kept that story moving forward. Now, the lawyer assigned to investigate this by the name of John Durham has announced he plans to indict another attorney who allegedly lied to the FBI about the story. I don't have a lot of details, but this is a developing story that was trending in the news. All right, in the world of money, hedge fund manager, boy, that's a tough one. Hedge fund manager Cathie Wood continues to tell people and everyone in the media how Tesla stock will go to $3,000 per share. Yet new disclosures show Miss Wood and her hedge fund have quietly sold $266 million worth of Tesla stock. So, was she pumping up the stock so she could sell it for a profit? Or was she upside down and needed to get the stock valuation back up so that she could sell and get back to break even? Or is she underwater in other investments and needed to pump Tesla up, which is a popular stock, so that she could cover those other losses? Either way, the narrative she's presenting is very suspicious and catching attention in the news today. I don't know, what do you think? Why would someone pump a stock over and over again and then quietly dump it and take a bunch of money off the table? Seems kind of weird to me. All right, now one of the biggest investment firms in China could cause negative ripples all across the world, not just in the stock market, but in your daily life too. Remember before the Great Recession when Lehman Brothers, the investment firm, failed and it triggered a market meltdown like we hadn't seen since the Great Depression? Well, Evergrande, which is much bigger than Lehman Brothers, announced this week that they will likely be defaulting on all of their contracts. They announced just yesterday that no one would be paid interest and no one could access their money or their original principal. They are on lockdown and they are in panic mode. Now, this is a developing story, but if they fall, it could cause a market meltdown around the world that could affect the prices of goods and services, the valuations on stocks, bonds, treasury bills. So hopefully they can hold it together, because I definitely don't want to lose money because of something that happened in China. All right, now this is my update for today. As I know more, I will definitely come on and share more. You guys got to tune in every single day. There is so much information coming out of Washington, D.C. right now, and I want to be here to break it down in as short of a video as I can so that you don't have to spend hours and hours reading the news. I hope you value the information I share on this channel, and I value you and appreciate you being in my community. And I'll see you on the next video.